One of the biggest sources of stress in my life is that I have too many interests, and I often find it difficult to find just one pursuit to put all of my focus and energy on. And I get a lot of questions from students and viewers who have the exact same problem, so if you feel like you have this problem as well, you're not alone. In fact, this is a really common problem, and it's often been referred to as the paradox of choice. One person who has done a lot of research on this problem is the Columbia School of Business professor Sheena Iyengar, and she summed this problem up really well when she said, "There are times when the presence of more choices can make us choose things that are not good for us. For me, the clearest example is that the more retirement fund options a person has, the less likely they are to save for their old age." So here is the big important question. How do you narrow down this ridiculous amount of choices you have to a few things that you can really focus your time, attention, and energy on? Well, there's a story about the billionaire investor Warren Buffett that might actually help. The story goes that Buffett was talking with the pilot of his private jet, and the pilot asked him about how he could narrow down his career goals and really focus. So Warren asked him to do an exercise. He said, first, write down your top 25 career goals. Then once you have that list, circle the 5 most important goals on the list and come back to me. So the guy went and did it. He wrote down those 25 goals, he circled 5, and he came back, and essentially at this point he had 2 lists. List A, which were those 5 most important goals, and list B, which were the 20 other goals that weren't as important. So at this point, the pilot says, okay, I think I got it now. The 5 that you had me circle are the most important things I should be focusing on, whereas the 20 I didn't circle are less important, so I can practice those intermittently when I have some spare time, but I shouldn't focus on them as much. And Buffett's response was, no. The list of 20 items you didn't circle is now your avoid at all costs list. These are goals and interests you have that have enough pull on your interests that they will distract you from the 5 most important goals. If you want to be a superstar at something, you can't afford to be diversifying your attention across all these interests. You have to focus. Now, it is likely that this story is actually fake. I've read in several places online that Buffett himself has said that he didn't have this conversation with his pilot. However, even if a famous person didn't give these instructions and have this guy do this exercise, I think the exercise is actually still useful to do. But I want to do you one better. You can definitely go through that exercise, but I want to share something that I discovered last week that I have adopted in my own life. There's a guy I've been following for a number of years online named Siver, and he's an author, a public speaker, and the founder of a company called CD Baby. And he's had a lot of success in his life, so I've been really inspired by his writings, and especially this book notes section on his website that he has where he summarizes books. And last week, I saw that he put something on his website called a Now page. It's basically a page where he writes what I'm doing now. He lists out a few of his main priorities, like being a full-time dad, being a programmer, answering emails, and writing blog posts. And then he says, these are my priorities right now. And because of that, I'm not going to accept new opportunities. I don't want to speak publicly, and I'm going to focus my time on these things I've listed. So this page serves a couple of different functions. Number one, it's a public declaration of his main priorities, which can help him justify saying no to other opportunities and explain that to other people who bring those opportunities to him. But it's also a private reminder for when he's feeling unfocused of what he should be focusing his mind on. Now, I think this Now page is a fantastic idea. So just like the impossible list concept that my friend Joel came up with, I have appropriated for my own uses. And now you can go to collegeinfogeek.com/now to see what I'm doing with my life. On that page, you'll see a similar layout to Derek's page. I've got what I'm doing now with a few different priorities listed out, but there is a key difference. Since I'm a bit earlier on in my career than Derek is, I've decided to be a little less staunch about saying no to new opportunities on that page than he has been. On mine, I say that I'm still open to new opportunities. I really value spontaneity and novelty, but 90% of my time is still going to go towards those main priorities. So if you're a student or you're early on in your career and you want to use this page for your own purposes, my suggestion is to be a little bit more open to other opportunities and take a stand in that camp, but still be focusing the majority of your attention on the priorities you've already set out on the page.